Hi, welcome to HVAC Animated. My name is Jeff Bennington and I'm your host, and I'm an old HVAC installer, now a territory manager for a major brand. The page is not about the brand, but it's about bringing you valuable content to share with your teams and coworkers. Today the topic is 5 reasons why you should throw your HVAC installers and service techs to the wolves. Let's get right into it. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 5 reasons why you should throw your HVAC installers and service techs to the wolves. And first, I just want to tell you a little story about why I believe this to be true. So around 1992-93-ish, I was in my second year of installing. We did a lot of new construction around that time, obviously a lot of retrofit, and I was pretty much a helper. I was starting to take on a little bit more responsibility, but around this time we got a really big job for a mansion here in Indiana. And this mansion, and I'm going to throw some pictures in here now, was pretty much the biggest job I had ever been on, but my boss, who was my father-in-law at that time, basically handed this project over to me, and it was going to be my first solo job. We had an electrician on site for some of the stuff because he was rewiring the house, the mansion, and I was doing all the work for the HVAC, including all the cutting in, duct work, setting the equipment, wiring it, all of that. And it was pretty overwhelming, and but we got through it. But just to give you an idea, as you look through these pictures that I'm putting up, this house was huge. It was 4 big systems. I think each system, at least on the lower floor, was 120, maybe even 140,000 BTU. Most likely 5-ton, at least on the 2 on the first floor, and then the other 2 systems were up in an attic area, a little knee wall area up in the billiard room, and you'll see some pictures of the billiard room. But in essence, I had about 20, maybe somewhere between 20 and 30 runs on the first floor. And the first floor was about 6 inches concrete. The joists were 4-inch by 14-inch concrete. And in between those concrete joists was this orange tile. So it's very unique. And every register needed cut through that concrete and located in between the joist. So where normally we would locate for joist, we would just use what we call the hanger bit. Just take the flat part of the hanger, kind of make an arrowhead out of it, and drill through carpet right near trim or something like that, and measure off where the joists are. Well, in this case, I had to use a small masonry bit that same way, put it by the close to the trim, and drill through the concrete, the tile. Hopefully, sometimes we got the joist, but then that's the whole point of finding your joist. So anyway, so we would cut out the whatever, it's hardwood, marble, carpet, just like you normally would, and use a masonry saw, circular saw, whatever we had to do for whatever the surface was, and then drill about 12 holes with the Hilti bit, and then chisel that out also with the hammer, Hilti drill hammer. And we had to do that about 20 to 30 times. I did. It was huge. Had to have a little tent with a shop vac there and water while we're going through the concrete to keep dust and everything down. It was huge. All to say, fast forward, this job was huge, thrown to the wolves, needed help frequently, not sure what to do when we're running into problems, but it was great. Father-in-law put me in charge of this, and I learned so much. Biggest job I ever did, even to this day, I would say, and probably the job that I learned the most on. So I think it's a great idea to throw your service techs and installers to the wolves. I learned so much, and I think they will too. Here's 5 reasons why. Number 1, gain confidence. When you're an HVAC helper, or you're a tech and you're just doing tune-ups, man, you can get stuck in that rut and really never advance and really never learn anything. But you gain confidence when you get thrown to the wolves and you get thrown in a big project. So, you can't always be a helper, right? Well, not everyone wants to advance, but if you want to continue to grow and learn, you got to take advantage of these learning opportunities like this when you get thrown to the wolves. So if you're an installer, you're going to gain confidence. You just get through it, and it's hard, and you learn. If you're an owner, manager, don't be afraid to throw your installers to the wolves, because they're going to learn. They're going to gain confidence, right? And the more you learn, the more money you make. The more skilled you are, the more value you bring to your company, to your own company, and to the marketplace. So you want to gain those skills, and you can do that when you're thrown to the wolves. Number 2, you learn by doing. One of the best ways to learn is not just sit there and look over someone's shoulder or watch somebody and talk it through. Yeah, that's definitely, you're going to pick things up. But the number way to learn something is to do it. Just do it and struggle with it and learn the ins and outs and learn, by doing. Watching is less valuable as far as educational tool. If someone were to give you a print and say, go for it, you're probably going to have lots of questions, but that's okay. Questions are good. So, in today's day and age, you can pick up a cell phone, you get a hold of somebody, text somebody, send pictures, use video. Cell phones and cameras, the remote coaching, there's no reason why you couldn't learn by being thrown to the wolves. Number 3, Lifeline is always available. So just like I was saying with the cell phones and cameras, if you get stuck, and if you're willing to put your installers and service techs, throw them to the wolves, you want to be available to them. So if you're a service manager, install manager, you can't throw them to the wolves and not be available, right? You want to build confidence, not crush their confidence. So make sure your people know that the Lifeline is always available. A good coach is always available. So don't reprimand your people for asking questions. If you're going to throw them to the wolves, they're going to have lots of questions, right? So be there for them. Reward techs when they succeed. Reward them when they ask questions and then they get through it. Don't discourage them. Number 4, never forget when you're under pressure. The reason throwing service techs and HVAC installers to the wolves is because they will never forget. I've never forgotten that experience when I worked on that mansion. It was huge. I talk about it frequently. I can't help it because it's actually a really good memory, and it's one of those things where it's so difficult. It's so overwhelming. I don't know how long I was there. I know I was there for more than a month, right? This was huge. They had no ductwork, so it was a big job, right? Putting in 4 systems, and then just everything we had to go through on the first floor, let alone the other floor, where coming from the knee walls and down into the second story, where we're cutting through plaster and that metal grating that's behind the old plaster. And this plaster was a good 3/4 to 1 inch thick. So that was a huge job, and I will never forget it. And so when you throw your HVAC installers and service techs to the wolves, by giving them support, offering a lifeline, being a good coach, they will never forget. And these will be lessons that they'll carry on through their whole life. So, it's easy to forget when someone else is doing the work for you. It's easy to get distracted when someone's just talking, and you're just standing over their shoulder. But you never forget when you're the one who's responsible. You never forget when your reputation is on the line, and you never forget when you genuinely want to learn, right? So if someone's going to throw you to the wolves and you want to learn, best circumstance, because now you're going to dig in and you're going to read the paperwork, you're going to read the install guide before you even call, right? Because you're genuinely interested in learning and growing. So, you'll never forget. That's number 4. Number 5, leaders have to let go, right? If you're an owner of a company, if you're a service manager, install manager, you have to let go. You can't always hold your tech's hands. You can't always hold their, hands and be there for them and solve all their problems. You got to sometimes let them get through it. Yes, be there and coach. Like I said, in today's day and age, you can do that remotely. And by having them there and figuring stuff out, Yeah, there may be those occasions where you got to send someone up, an advanced tech or a more experienced tech to come there. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, drop them out with a helicopter out in the middle of nowhere and expect them to figure everything out and have every single tool when they're less experienced. Sometimes you've got to jump out there and be a person who's actually available to actually go to the site. But if you're an owner, if you're a manager, and you're constantly, you know, helping and babysitting, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing the customers in the future a disservice, and you're doing that tech or installer a disservice. They're going to learn better when they're thrown to the wolves and do it on their own. And if you're a service tech, I just want to say, or installer, the more you know, the more knowledge you have, the more experiences and difficulties you go with, the more valuable you'll become, the more money you can ask for. I'm not saying it's all about the money, but you need to learn more. You need to know more information. You have to have more experiences, and the best experiences are the ones where they're difficult circumstances, right? And you learn by doing. So throw your Texas installers to the wolves. Best results is by working through those problems out there. And then let's just review. So 5 reasons why it's a good idea to throw your service techs and installers to the wolves. Number 1, they gain confidence. Number 2, they learn by doing. Number 3, there's always a lifeline available with the technology we have today. You can put cameras on your forehead and someone can watch remotely what's happening. And then you never forget when you, you never forget when you're the one under pressure. So being thrown to the wolves is a great way to learn, because it's better than just being passive and learning that way. And number 5, leaders have to let go. And if you're an installer, helper, you want to advance, you want to learn, you need to take opportunities and use those as a way for you to learn. So don't let somebody always hold your hand. Take a step out and say, hey, why don't let me tackle this? Let me do this job. And if I need help, I'll call you. Manager and owner, that's music to their ears. And for you, you'll never regret it. You'll always appreciate the things that you've learned and the knowledge you've had, and it will just help you to bring more value to this world. And I hope I did that for you today. And thank you. If you like what you heard today, please smash the like button, give me a like. Comments, I appreciate comments, positive and constructive criticism is great. And subscribe. I've got other topics coming. I'm going to be talking about why FQIs are absolutely critical to HVAC service companies, and other topics that you can see in the subject of the in the About section of my page. So thank you. Looking forward to seeing you again the next time. Bye-bye.